Hello, my friends, and welcome back. This next article that I would like to discuss in this video is a clear example of double standard used by the Western countries and its bottom feeder allies when they claim certain things and they are all outraged when someone else does something that they did before, but nevertheless they think that they are talking to teenagers and people below 86 IQ, or people who have a very short memory span for about 3 days back. That's all. In this case, unfortunately, again, is Japan. I love Japan, but the leaders are, and you guys in Japan are under the occupation. You have 55,000 American troops stationed on your territory, and you are free sovereign state. Make me laugh. Oh yeah, okay, the politicians want that to defend you from evil that and evil that and that and that is gonna always gonna be an evil something somewhere. So nevertheless, let's see what these guys are doing here. Unbelievable. So we have here from Reuters from yesterday, May 20th, 2022, Japan Prime Minister Kishida calls China's development in East China Sea unacceptable. Now, all this, put it in the context of Russia, Ukraine. So keep that in mind, that whenever these guys are going to talk about what's unacceptable, talk about Japan being, for instance, Russia. And if Japan has claims, legitimate claims to call China's moves unacceptable in East China, then probably if you use the same logic and set of values to Russia, then Russia might have had some legitimate concerns with its safety and security and find certain things unacceptable, like, I don't know, NATO expansion in Ukraine. So let's go and see. But the problem is Russia could punch, Japan can't. They have to ask their bosses to punch for them or to give them green light. So we have here Tokyo. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said on Saturday that he was disappointed in China's efforts to develop areas in East China Sea, saying that it was unacceptable. Okay, what are you going to do about it? Okay, we don't care about that one. Are you gonna de-escalate the conflict, or are you gonna escalate the conflict? So, speaking to reporters in the western city of Kyoto, he said that the government had lodged a complaint against China via diplomatic channels. Remember, there were some meetings over there between the Americans and Japanese, and I think Biden was uh, taken and dropped in South Korea and Japan, and his brain is about to be delivered. What's left of it will be delivered from United States via Amazon by Amazon. I don't know, whenever they will have the delivery. So the Japanese Foreign Ministry released a statement on Friday confirming an increase in Chinese efforts to develop natural resources in East Asia Sea, to develop natural resources in East China Sea, including in areas that are west of the midpoint between Japan and China, one source of lasting tensions between the world's second and third largest economies is a dispute over tiny islands in East China. All right. China Sea, which Japan controls, but China also claims, and the waters around them. All right, so they claim this. What about Russia claiming Crimea? What about that? What about Russia claiming Donbass and Lugansk? And maybe more than that. How about that? How about Romania claiming Bessarabia and Bukovina from Ukraine? How about Romania claiming the Quadrilater in the southeastern side of Romania from Bulgaria? How about Serbia asking for the Romanian Banat? How about Romanian asking for the Serbian Banat? How about the Hungarians claiming the Romanian Banat and the Transylvania? How about the Hungarians requesting everything around them but Austria for territories? How about Poland requesting Kaliningrad from Russia, actually from Germany? No, Königsgrad. No, Who, Kaliningrad, the enclave over there. How about that? How about maybe the Germans claiming parts of East Prussia, and we have over there some Lithuania, Poland. How about that? No, no, no. I mean, how about Poland claiming parts of Ukraine and vice versa? So you see, everybody has claims. So here you have these claims about these islands, and not only that, the problem is not really that those islands. The problem, the big problem over there, is the fact that China, who is stronger economically, stronger militarily, cannot be independent and out of the club's control. Let me check it. Okay. No, it's not like that. They are more independent, and now they're on the side of the Russians straight. And that's one thing. The other thing is the Solomon Islands treaty just signed 2 weeks ago or so by China and the Solomon Islands. And in that treaty, contract, the Solomon Islands leaders agreed independently, sovereignly, right? They're a sovereign country, that they would allow Chinese warships to dock in Solomon Islands ports. And that, remember, Solomon Islands, if you look on the map or on the globe, is about 2,000 kilometers, 1,200 miles away, north, a bit east from Australia. And Australia talks about security concerns. And America, the United States, which is further than Australia, the same thing. Security concerns and it's a disturbance in the status quo of the region, of the family, East Asian Pacific family. That's how they call it. Well, if it's Pacific family, you let me interact, right, and move around, right? Is that or not? So no, that's the sphere of dominance. I'm not going to call it influence. Sphere of dominance. And they don't want anybody. Unless they make a move, the other ones are not allowed to make a move. That's how it is. So now, what's the name? Japan just starts with China. About 2 weeks ago, had problems with Kuril Islands, with the Northern Territories, how they call them, from Russia. Then they had problems with South Korea. Again, they have disputed islands. All right now, or at least the mass media makes it a big deal right now, because we have to make it a big deal in our lives all of a sudden. And what's going to happen? What is going to happen? 2 blocks. The old club, led by the United States with the rest of the plantation slaves and the house servant, which is just Great Britain, and sometimes France, who tries to say, oh, I'm independent here and there. You're not. And then the bottom feeders, the rest. And then the other club, now it's forming, which is Russia, who fights this club, and then China, probably India, and on the structure of BRICS. BRICS being, China, India, Russia, South Africa, and Brazil. And not only that. So there you have it. Japan, good job. What are you going to do something about it? Because the Chinese definitely will do that. Are you prepared to do something about it? And what exactly? And remember, there's Taiwan over there too. So yeah, Japan, unacceptable. What unacceptable? A lot of things are unacceptable. What are you going to do about it? All right. And remember, Japan is not in that how should I put it, in that situation like after the Second World War, when Emperor Hirohito came in front of the radio station, and he spoke for the first time to the population, I think, or not the first time, but I don't want to say things like this, but he spoke via radio means, and he said that he asked, because there's one request from the United States for the unconditional surrender, the emperor to renounce his divinity in front of his subjects. So he had to say, well, I'm not actually God's on earth. I'm not how do you call it, God's messenger or God's representative on earth. That's what he had to say after so many years of this really belief in Japan. It was a humiliation, big time. Well, did they care? No. And now they're friends, right? Not really, because one has 55,000 troops on the other land, on the other country's territory, whereas the other ones don't have anything on the other one. So it tells you who's who and what's what. So then when Hirohito came and he said, he asked his subject, his population, Japanese, let's bear the unbearable. Try to bear the unbearable. the humiliation of the Second World War and so on. Well, obviously you can say, well, it was their fault, they should have done, but there's some limits, you know. There's some limits. And anyway, after you drop two atomic bombs on two cities, really? They talk about morality and unconditional surrender. Thank you very much for me. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.